today sitting here with one of the, I believe, legends of boxing, women's boxing, Layla McCarter. Amazing is her nickname. And she is. She's an amazing lady. 8-time world champion, 5 weight divisions. She won her first title when she was 21 years old. She's ranked by Ring Magazine in 2016 as one of the 10 best female fighters of all time. She has been inducted into 2 boxing halls of fame, the California Boxing Hall of Fame, and that was back in 2016.
Yes, sir.
And then Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame just last year. And she's been honored by the International Women's Boxing Hall of Fame. That was in 2023. But what's really unique about this young lady here is she, the first female to work 12 3-minute rounds in a fight. That fight happened right here, actually, in Las Vegas, at the Orleans.
Yeah.
My good friend, co-host Kenny Bayless was a referee, and I understand that you petitioned the Nevada State Athletic Commission to do that, and they approved it. And you met a young lady by the name of Donna Nature Girl Biggers. That was the fight, and.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure for me to be on the official call with Robert Byrd, legendary referee. You've done a lot of my fights, and it's been a long career. And I'm just happy to be here with you today to share some insights, experiences, and chat with you a little bit.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Chop it up.
Yeah, chop it up.
Recently, there was a couple of fights. One of them, Navarrete versus Suarez.
Suarez, right. Yeah.
And what was interesting about the fight, it was a pretty competitive fight up until there was an eye cut. And the referee ruled the cut from an accidental headbutt. But film clips of it reflected that maybe it was caused by a punch. And that controversy definitely had an impact on the outcome of the fight.
Definitely. I rewatched it and the replays, and I saw it as a punch for sure. But it was really close because there was a head graze there, afterwards.
Yeah.
It's a tough call, as you know, as a referee.
Yeah.
On the spot. But
Yeah.
you know what? I thought it was a punch. Either way, I don't think the fight should have been stopped. It wasn't like a devastating cut. It didn't look to me, I'm not a doctor, but I've had bad cuts before. And that's why the importance of a good cut man in the corner.
Amen to that.
It's important. It was above the eye. But I think it was kind of a convenient decision to stop the fight and go to a technical decision.
Yeah.
And he is the promoter's guy. I'm not saying anything like that, but it was a good outcome for the hometown fighter.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that, but because of this controversy and because they did go back to instant replay to look at it, the California Commission, and subsequent to that, the California Commission probably, in all probability, will order a rematch of it because of the controversial way that the fight ended. And they probably will go back and change it from a decision to a no decision.
You think so?
Yeah, I think California Commission, once they look at it, that's probably what they're going to do, given all the controversy of it and given the video looking at it. So
Suarez should hope for that because, you know, in a rematch, I believe Navarrete beats him the whole way.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was pretty one-sided as a fight, I think,
Yeah.
you know, to begin with. So,
you know, the other thing that's interesting about this is that we always talk about, you know, the rivalry between Mexico and Puerto Rico. But this was a part of an upcoming rivalry between Mexico and the Philippines.
exactly.
Now that's starting to develop into being a real rivalry.
It's a fun
in
one to watch.
boxing.
Too,
Yeah, it
man.
is.
They come to fight.
Yeah.
Generally, you know, they're great fights between
Yeah.
the two.
Yeah. So, in the Morataya, Abdalah, how you say?
Abdalah?
Yeah, him.
Yeah, Abdalah. You know, I had a teammate, Muhammad Abdalah. That's the only reason I really know how to pronounce this name.
Oh, good. But at any rate, again, there was a little controversy in this fight too.
Yeah.
They were fighting for the IBF interim lightweight title, and the fight was pretty competitive for a while. The A side, being Morataya, was winning. He was doing real good. But about the middle of the fight, things started to turn around. Abdalah landed a couple of hard, clean
Started letting
shots.
his hands go, yeah.
Changed it. He sort of changed things up. But
it made it interesting anyway.
Yeah, it
because
did.
To that point, Morataya was, you know, dominating basically. Good boxing, good ability. I mean, it was close, but you know, Abdalah just didn't let his hands go. He was doing that stab jab, you know, and he's very predictable with his rhythm.
Yeah.
Morataya has more in the bank. He's got more rhythm, more ability, good boxing. The only thing I saw negative with Morataya is he wasn't getting his head off the line like a good professional. That's why he was getting caught with those overhand rights all day.
Yeah. And it was quite
to improve.
Quite a bit not like last weekend, where there was a few, as people say, track meets going on.
Oh my goodness! Yes.
These guys, they fought.
Yeah.
The fight was competitive, and I think that's what people want to see.
It keeps it interesting. The danger that somebody could hit somebody and do something. I mean, you know, either one of those guys could have made it a difference in the fight. So.
Yeah.
It was
and
exciting.
the public pays. You know, the public is paying to come to see a fight.
Yes.
You know, and we owe it to them to give them that, to give them a good product.
But on the playing devil's advocate and being that I've been in fights where people don't want to fight, it's difficult to make a fight out of it sometimes when someone's not there to fight.
Yeah.
You know, chasing them around the ring and, you know.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see good fights.
Yeah. Well, you got to adapt to whatever's in front of you, you know, because not all of them are going to be, they're not all going to be good. They're not all going to go.
We're definitely there to entertain.
That's it.
Whenever
That's
possible.
That's it.
And, you know, Abdalah, you know, he had 2 12-round stoppages in his career. So, you know, he's always in the fight, you know, to the end.
Yeah.
It only takes one punch, as you know.
Yeah, to change everything around.
Morataya, you know, he's a well-trained fighter. He's, you know, with Robert Garcia, who's one of the best,
best trainers
out there. I really love Robert Garcia. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I worked his fights when he was a champion.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. He's got quite a stable there. And it's still in Oxnard?
Yeah, I think it's in Riverside.
Okay, he moved in.
He opened a new gym. Yeah.
Okay, he opened a new one. But when he originally started, I think it was in Oxnard.
Yeah, he did the blow-by-blow for my fight at the Mandalay Bay when I fought on pay-per-view for the BKB event.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm going to talk about that.
And his comments, you know, because he's a fighter, he understands, and he really had good insight on that fight.
Yeah. Well, most people don't. They probably don't know what the heck you're saying when you talk about BKB, but there was a small time here in Las Vegas called Big Knockout Boxing.
Exactly.
And it was like in a cage.
Kind of, yeah. It was like a cone, more or less, but.
And with some slopes, and there was no
17 feet across.
yeah, there's no way that you had to fight.
There's no ring. There's
Yeah,
no
you
ropes.
had to fight. There was no rope to lean up against, and I really enjoyed it.
I did
I
as
really
well.
enjoyed
It was such
it.
a good production.
And you had to bring it.
Absolutely.
You know?
But even a boxer, as Robert Garcia said during my fight, even a boxer can use the ring to their advantage by just shortening up the angles and stepping around like I was doing all night, and it was just a easy work for me that day.
Yeah. Which also means that's another first for you.
Yeah. First and only women that ever
First
competed
and
in the
there
BKB,
you
actually,
go.
because later they sold out to Comcast and DirecTV.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
But so I was the last and first BKB female champion.
Yeah, it's a good thing though.
Yeah, it's nice. It's good history. So on to the all-women show at Madison Square Garden, headlined by Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano.
Yeah.
This is history in the making. Sold out Madison Square Garden audience watching 2 women headliners as well as the whole undercard, six female fights.
Yeah.
I mean, this is great. Jake Paul, what he's done with women's boxing, I got to respect him for it. He's putting the women on the stage. He's giving them the money. He's making it all happen, just like Don King did with Christy Martin. And I think it's just incredible. I'm looking forward to the fight in July 11th on Netflix.
Yeah. Sounds good. So now who's on this card?
So we've got, the headliners. First of all, are we going to break that down later?
Sure.
Then?
Yeah.
Or now?
Either way.
Well, Katie Taylor, she's got solid skills. She's a pedigreed Olympian, amateur. Amanda Serrano is aggressive. She's mentally and physically tough as nails, and she always comes to fight. So I think this fight is going to deliver for the fans in the same way the first 2 fights did.
Yeah.
As for predicting a winner, that's going to be tough. Because, it's up in the air, just like the other 2.
Well, yeah, and I was going to say that because, and both of the other fights were, they was fights.
Right?
They were throwing down,
Yes.
I think in the second fight, though, there was some controversy in the second fight. And I think that's probably what drove them going to the third fight.
Mm-hmm. It's been a good matchup every time, and I think that both women have done great things in boxing. And Amanda Serrano, my heart is with her. I hope she wins the fight, and I look forward to a possible future matchup with her myself, possibly by the end of the year.
Well, that would be wonderful.
We're going to talk about that after the Katie
That
fight.
would be wonderful.
It would be. I'm talking, if Jake Paul wants to come correctly, then, I'm in it.
Yeah.
If not, I'm retired. Either way. Yeah. But I've had a good career.
Yeah, so. But it's a great fight for women's boxing, but not only women's boxing. It's a great fight for boxing in general, given some of the less than stellar bouts we've witnessed over the course of the last couple of months.
Absolutely.
I expect that this fight, just like the other 2, is going to be a firefight. They're going to fight each other.
Yeah. But they carry the weight of women's boxing on their shoulders. That's the thing with a good headline women's fight is that if they stink, women's boxing suffers. People see that for the first time. They see a women's bout and they say, wow, women suck. Women are no good. Yeah. But if they see a bad men's fight, it's just those guys. That's the burden that we carry every time we step in the ring as women boxers.
Well, I know one thing. This fight between Katie and Serrano is going to be a throwdown.
Yeah. It will deliver.
It's going to be a throwdown.
Don't miss that fight on Netflix. That's going to be one you don't want to miss for sure. For boxing fans, you like boxing, you like fighting. Yeah. That's a fan favorite type of fight.
Yeah.
The co-feature would be Alicia Baumgardner versus Jennifer Miranda.
Yeah.
And what do you think about that one?
Well,
Baumgardner's, she's the undisputed super featherweight champion. She's 15-1. Miranda's a pretty girl from Spain who never fought anybody. No disrespect, but I see it as a clear Baumgardner victory, unless Miranda comes out and surprises us.
Well, but the only concern I would have is based upon the research I've done. Baumgartner's last fight was in 2023, and so that's kind of a long layoff.
Could be for some.
Yeah.
For me, that's a blink. I've had some pretty long ones myself, you know, and but she's a better fighter. She's fought notable opposition like
she has.
Lenartadu, who was 14-2, Meyer 17-0, an Olympian, Terry Harper, also an Olympian, 11-0, and Ethel, I forgot how to pronounce the name, but it's Matali. She's a French girl. She's 17-2. She's got some good opponents, and the Jennifer Miranda, her best win was her last one against Teresa Almager, who was she fought all losing records basically. So you know, you can't give much credit to that.
Well, she was, well, her pedigree is that she was 3-time, 9-time amateur champion in Spain.
Okay.
Yeah, because she's from Spain.
Okay.
You know.
You know, and maybe we just haven't seen her enough yet. I mean, we got to give her a chance to shine, and this is a big stage, the biggest stage that you could possibly have to show what you're made of. So I look forward to seeing what she has.
And one of the things that often slips through the cracks is they say this guy's fighting, he's only got 8 or 9 fights, but they forget that these people have like 30, 40, 50 amateur fights.
Right.
And a lot of them at the Olympian level. So when they come in,
there's amateurs, there's elite amateurs. Yeah, definitely.
And the classic example for me was Lomachenko. I mean, he's a guy that won the championship in his 3rd fight.
Yeah.
World championship in his 3rd fight.
Yeah.
But he had like 399 amateur fights.
Absolutely.
And a couple of gold medals. So he was a pro. You know.
Those guys from that region and like the former Russia area and Cubans, they always have hundreds of amateur fights, and you never know what you're getting into when you step in with a pro debut of one of those guys.
Yeah, you're right.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
So after on the further down in the undercard, we have Ellie Scottney versus Yamalith Mercato. Scottney's 10-0. Yamamith is 24-3 with 5 KOs.
Yeah.
She's aggressive, Mercado, but she's a little too slow, I think, for the pedigree of Scottney.
Yeah. She's
a good boxer, Scottney, but she's not a puncher particularly, and she has a good background in the amateurs.
Yeah. Well, she lost to Serrano.
Oh, Scottney did. Yeah, I see how much. Oh, right.
No, Mercato.
Oh, Mercato.
Mercato.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say,
she lost to Serrano.
Okay.
So she's been in with some of the tough ones.
Yeah, got to credit her for stepping up, and and she's got a solid record at 24-3. I think that might be a good matchup.
Yeah, started boxing when she was 16 years old.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, started boxing at 16 years old.
And she beat Ramla Ali. She was Ramla Ali's first loss, who was a good up and coming, star in the making, as they say.
Yeah, well, she's on a roll. She's had 8 consecutive defenses. Like I said, the only thing I see is, that layoff. What effect was that have? Or and that it can have an effect if you're not doing what you're supposed to do.
Absolutely.
In that downtime.
If they're leaving the gym completely, then
Yeah.
Then we have Dina Torsland from Denmark.
Gotta be.
That girl, she's good. This is a good fighter. 23-0, 9 KOs versus Sharetta Metcalf.
Yeah.
Who's 14-4 with 2 KOs. How do you see that one going?
Well, I don't know, but the people who write about boxing say that she is probably the best fighter out there at 118 pounds. So we'll see. She's a 2-weight champion, WBC, WBO. So we'll see.
I'm looking forward to seeing her. I've honestly haven't seen her in my life, but I look forward to seeing what she has to offer. She beat opponents with good records, and it has a decent amateur background.
Yeah.
Metcalf, unfortunately, has just one amateur fight, I think.
Yeah.
So she's at a disadvantage with that. And her best wins were against the Japanese girl Mayo Yoshida.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Who was 17-4, so that was a good credit to her that she beat her twice.
Yeah. And the other thing is that fighting at Madison Square Garden won't be novel for her because she's done it before.
Yeah. Metcalf?
Yeah. This is her second time fighting at Madison Square Garden. The first time was when she won the title in October of 2024.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think she might also be signed up with Jake Paul Promotions. I'm not
She
sure.
is.
He just signed a lot of female fighters. So
she
again,
is.
credit to Jake Paul for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tibol.
So, Tibol. She's 2-0 with 1 KO. These are fighting at middleweight with Mary Casamasa. Casamasa. She's a good fighter. She's 51-14 as an amateur, which is a lot of experience.
What's unique about this particular fight? This is a tall order. Both of them 6 feet.
Are they?
Both of the women 6 feet tall. Yeah.
Wow.
They're both 6 feet tall. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. With Tibol, she's a 2-time Canadian Olympian.
Mm-hmm.
She was at the World Championships in 2022 and the Pan American Games in 2023.
Okay.
She's a newcomer. She just made her debut in December of last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both somewhat new, I think. The girl 6-0, Mary Casamasa.
Yeah.
She has a limited amateur background. She was only 1-1, I believe. And her best opponent to date was a decent fighter from Brazil, Adriana dos Santos Araujo, who was 6-2. So, both in their young careers and on the biggest platform you could imagine. So,
and this Casamasa, she a little bit of a historical note. She's the first woman world boxing champion ever coming from Western Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Pennsylvania's turned out a few champions, most of them in Philly.
Okay. Well, it's interesting stuff. I'm looking forward to that fight.
Yeah. Now, there is something on the horizon. The WBC has come out and said vehemently, we are opposed to women fighting 3-minute rounds. And what he has said is that, Suleiman has said is that for safety reasons, the WBC would never sanction a 12-round, 3-minute fight for women. Now, I've been in the gym. I've been in the gym with you. You're doing 3-minute rounds.
There's only one timer in the gym.
So I know that it's not as a doctor said to me. It's not that they can't do it. The question is, should they? You did the very first 12 3-minute round championship fight. Where you stand on this?
They absolutely, yes, they can do it, and yes, they should do it. That's two answers, 2 yeses for that one. Because, when I'm in fight shape, I outcondition every man in my gym, period. I am in shape to go 12 rounds with any woman out there. We're not fighting men here. And yeah, boxing's dangerous. Tell us something we don't know. I mean, if you want to keep women out of boxing, why don't you just say it in plain English? Like, we think women shouldn't box because it's not safe. They tried that, but now we're in. So they got to change it now. Oh, we'll let you box, but only 2-minute rounds.
Well, the flip side of that is that women fighting 2-minute rounds makes them fight harder and faster It's more exciting.
I don't think so.
As a matter of fact, the WBC is even talking about the men going to 2-minute rounds.
I would be less offended in that way. If we were all doing 2-minute rounds, I have no issue with
Well,
it.
it's happened. Jake Paul, when he fought Mike Tyson, it was an 8-round, 2-minute round fight.
Yeah.
So.
But again, we're talking about fights and real fights and other fights. Okay. No offense, but yeah. I'm just saying that like we're fighters and we need to be respected as fighters. We do our work. We go to the gym just like everybody else. We're on the same timer. And it's such a slap in the face and a disrespect to say women can't do or shouldn't do 3-minute rounds. I mean, I'm in there sparring the boys 3-minute rounds. That's what we've always done, and that's what I always will do. Mm-hmm. You know, when you dumb it down because you're a female, I mean, you know.
Well, some people are
patronizing.
Saying, some people are saying real reason. There's an underlying real reason, and that underlying real reason is that
SEXISM.
If women are doing 12 3-minute round championships, that they should get paid commensurate with that.
Absolutely.
I think that's probably the underlying reason.
You know, every time I mention to other women, and I'm going back to the chat days of AOL, dial-up internet. I'm talking about the old days, okay? Mm-hmm. We were talking about this way back then, and women would say, well, we don't get paid the same. Why should we do more?
Right.
I said, we're already sacrificing. We're already putting ourselves out there, and we're already getting the shaft. So what is it to do the same job? That makes it so we can argue for equal money one day. Mm-hmm. If we're not doing the same job, how could we ever fight for equal pay and equal opportunity? It's not going to happen. Yeah. And it's just one more way that they can keep it separate and down. Yeah. And that's how I feel about everybody who's trying to restrict women from fighting 3-minute rounds. It's not about, you know, they're thinking about their wives, their daughters, who might not be in athletics, who might not be a boxer. Mm-hmm. When they see women, they see those women. They're not seeing me. Mm-hmm. They're not seeing my you know, the people that I came up with. Mm-hmm. We're fighters. Yeah. This is what we do. Yeah. And we understand all the risks that go along with it, just like any other male fighter. We signed up for this. Yeah. So let us do it. Don't tell us what we can do. Just get out of our way and let us do it. That's what. Yeah. And that's how I feel about it.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan because I've seen you do it. And I mean, time after time after time after time. And like you said, in the gym, it's not only sparring against women. Mm-hmm. I've seen you sparring against men and holding your own against them. So
I mean, I've knocked out a few. I'm not gonna brag over here. Well, I just did, but
yeah.
I'm just saying that, you know what, skill is skill. When the right hand hits you,
that's it.
You're not seeing the body that it's attached to, or you know.
The punch doesn't care what jaw hits.
Doesn't care. Skills are what boxing's all about.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
And,
I agree.
And you know. And yes, men and women are built differently. We're, you know, equal skill, equal weight. Sure, a man is built better. They're gonna, you know, but, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think Tim Bradley said one of the differences is that women are built better waist down. Sure. Men waist up. They're just stronger up here.
But it's irrelevant to boxing. I mean, we're fighting other women.
Yeah.
Are we fighting men?
Yeah.
No, but in the gym, I beat plenty of men because my skill level is elevated. My boxing IQ is elevated, and that's what boxing is really about, you know?
I agree.
Like we're talking about future fights with small guys, big guys. Yeah. I mean, a good small guy can beat a decent big guy.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's happened.
Just have to overcome with the skill.
Yeah, I agree.
And women have to work 10 times harder to just get a sliver of the respect that the men get.
Yeah.
By right. So
well, hopefully it's moving in the direction of tennis. Tennis, you know, women are getting the same purses.
Thanks to Billie Jean King and all she had to do to get there.
Yeah. There is a slight difference in tennis because, you know, I think the women only played 3 rounds in order to get the champion, the men 5. But in terms of compensation, they're getting the same compensation. Yeah. So it's moving in the right direction. It's moving in the right direction.
And I think Amanda Serrano is a big advocate for women fighting 12 3-minute rounds as well. She's picked up that torch and she's running with it. And
Yes.
she's got the platform to make things happen. So if we fight by the end of this year or whenever we fight, it's going to be 12 3-minute rounds. Never mind the organizations. Whatever organizations want to come on board and make that money, great.
Yeah.
The ones that don't, they can be by the side. And that's up to them. But
well,
this is what we're going to do.
I hear you. Well, you got another lady out there that's pretty good. 2-time gold medal winner.
I know
in the
exactly who
Olympics.
you're talking about.
And she's moving up in weight to
You're
fight
talking about
for
Clarissa Shields, right? Would
Clarissa
that be the
Shields.
one?
There
Okay.
you go.
All right.
She's moving up to fight for the undisputed heavyweight championship. And so she moved up a few weight classes. I think she started at 168. And now she's moved up, all these divisions to fight young
Lanny
lady.
Daniels from New Zealand.
Yeah,
Maori girl.
Maori, yeah. I didn't know what that was. But I looked it up, and what it said was that the Maori people are indigenous Polynesian people of mainland New Zealand. And this fight against Clarissa is going to be interesting because Daniels is fighting for the heavyweight championship. She was a heavyweight champion, went back down to light heavy, and now is going back up to heavyweight to fight Clarissa.
They're jumping around the weight classes wherever the opportunities lie. That's what women boxing does more than the male boxing because we have to by necessity. There's less female fighters, period.
Yeah.
And Clarissa, unfortunately, is running out of opponents. That's her big issue. She's a girl with a lot of skill. Obviously, she's proven it again and again.
Yeah.
And she's starting to display some power, actually, which she didn't do in her earlier fight. She had that amateur style.
Yeah.
But in her last fight, in the very last round, she dropped that right hand on the girl. Whoo! Did you see that?
Yeah.
That was a nice loop right hand, put her right down. And I think if she does more of that, she's really going to start. Well, she's already on fire, but it'll bring more viewership.
I think it's going to be interesting that this is going to be the heaviest she's ever been. And sometimes, I don't know if you carry the speed up. Power, hopefully, with additional weight, you would be more powerful. But sometimes
it can slow you down.
That's the thing. And this other girl has been a heavyweight, light heavyweight, and back to heavyweight. So evidently she's comfortable as a big girl, as opposed to Clarissa, who's moving up basically from middleweight to heavyweight.
But to be honest about this fight, I really think that it's more of an exhibition for Shields to show off in her hometown. I mean, not to disrespect Daniels, but she's only 5-3 as an amateur. And Clarissa had a wealth of amateur experience and background and pro experience. So it's going to be a tough battle for her to win or to even compete in this fight. I don't know how it's going to go, but her best win was against the 6-1, or no, she lost to a 6-1, and she was stopped by somebody 4-1 in her last one. So, Balatito Olawale, the African, who fought no one really. She was 9-0, but this girl beat her, Daniels. That was her best win. So. Well, but Clarissa's a whole other level. This is going to be tough, but I wish her well, and I hope that she puts a good fight up there.
Well, the good thing about this Madison Square Garden event and the Clarissa, July is going to be an awesome month for women's boxing.
Should make it women's boxing month.
Well, it is women's boxing month.
It is.
July is going to be women's boxing month. With that card in Madison Square Garden and Clarissa, that's great. That's great. It's a great time for women's boxing.
And they're making money. Thank you, Jake Paul. Thank you, Netflix. Thank you, everybody who's like getting behind women for the first time, because those girls are making over $6 million a piece, I believe.
Ooh.
This fight. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
20% I'm in.
Hey, I hear you.
Honestly, I've had a good career, I've had a good legacy, but what a great time for women's boxing.
It is. And you have been so much a part of it, and hopefully you're going to be that trend is going to continue.
Yes.
Okay.
We can only hope.
Yeah. Now, a guy that I have a lot of respect for, I did a couple of his fights, 3 of his fights actually. Did his fight when he won the cruiserweight title. Usyk.
I love Usyk.
Usyk is going to be fighting Daniel Dubois. And this is going to be a huge fight in the UK. It's going to be at Wimbledon, I think, Wembley Stadium.
Wembley, yeah.
And that's where the big football stadium there, I think.
That's huge. That's where Live Aid was. Freddie Mercury, Queen.
Yeah.
I mean, Wembley's had so much historical significance.
And there's a lot of interest in the fight because it's a rematch, okay, from the first fight. And there was controversy in the first fight. Dubois claiming that he hit Usyk with a legal blow to the midsection. The referee in the fight deemed it to be a low blow and inappropriately called time. And Dubois is basically saying, had the referee not ruled that a low blow and Usyk had time to recover, that he would have won the fight. I don't know.
I don't think so. Sorry, Usyk is a beast, and he was dominating. He's such a different level fighter, that guy. And Dubois is a natural heavyweight. He is a legitimate heavyweight.
Yeah.
But Usyk doesn't care about that. Usyk has guts. He is an old school throwback fighter. Yeah. I really like Usyk.
And one of the guys that and I told people, and I've done a lot of fighters,
yeah,
and technically, it's difficult to find anyone who is as technically sound as he is.
His skill, his footwork, his timing, everything.
And the fact that he fought Tyson Fury, who probably outweighed him by 30 pounds.
That's the heart of Usyk. Look at that. He's got so much heart. And I think that's the big difference in the fight also was, Usyk's heart is immeasurable. He faces King Kong. He doesn't care.
Well, I don't know about King Kong, but in this fight, in the 8th round of the fight, he dropped him, and then in the 9th round, it was over with. He stopped him, and so there's a lot of interest in this fight based upon all the controversy in the first fight.
Usyk dropped him with a jab. A power jab.
Well,
I mean, that's skill. He really drove that jab through, and he put him right down.
Yeah.
But the thing about Dubois, he got up. He didn't even complain about the stoppage when the referee was waving. I feel like,
which is a clue, huh?
I can't take it from him. He got hit by Usyk.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
But if a fighter really wants to continue, whether they're out on their feet or not, they will beg the referee. Let's go. I'm okay. Even if they're not okay.
Yeah. Yes, I do.
But Dubois didn't do that, and that's what I'm thinking might be the difference. Is he willing to go that extra mile to pull out a victory against somebody so dangerous? So
and I'll tell you, this is the fight that I want to see because Usyk is so technically sound and professional. But he, based upon some of the stuff that Dubois has been saying, he's really motivated.
Yeah, he better be careful what he says.
He's really motivated in this rematch, and so I think it's going to be a scrap.
I agree with you. He's bringing out the bad side of Usyk, which I don't know what that's going to look like if we've only seen the good side.
Yeah.
Don't make this man mad, please.
No.
I predict Usyk by knockout. Absolutely.
Well, he knocked him down last time and stopped him in the following round. So he'll probably be a little bit more motivated this time around. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, he's been stopped twice
Yeah.
now. Joe Joyce also stopped Dubois.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Usyk's just a beast. He's one of my favorite guys.
Yeah.
Maybe my favorite guy out there besides
Yeah.
Bud Crawford.
Well, everybody's calling this the what if fight, and so I think this fight is going to answer the question.
Yeah, I mean, Dubois hit him with like 20 low blows. I saw a replay of a video where it showed all the ones below the belt. I mean, it wasn't just that one. He hit him like 20 times in that fight.
Yeah.
So I think Dubois needs to clean it up. Even though they're fighting at Wembley, England, hometown.
Yeah.
I still predict Usyk as the winner. He's going to take it away from the judges.
Yeah. We've been talking about this wonderful month of July in women's boxing. We're talking about women in general in boxing. Now, my question to you, if there's a Mount Rushmore of women boxers, who would be on that mountain with you? With
me? Well, I don't know. That's an ego to put myself up there. I always put myself up there, because I'm a fighter. That's what we do. We always have to think of ourselves in the best light. But realistically, we all played our part. We all played our role. And I got to give credit to all the women who ever stepped in there. Going back to Bonnie Canino and all these girls fighting on all women shows back in the 90s. Back to the women like Barbara Buttrick in the 60s. I mean, we've got fighters through the eras. Sue Fox, who started WBAND, fighting in the 70s. There wasn't competition. There wasn't anybody to fight, but they were doing it anyway. They were, doing the best that they could do. And so all these women deserve to be on Mount Rushmore. But if I had to pick 4 faces that really put them on the map, Christy Martin's got to be number one.
That's number one, yeah.
What do you think about Christy Martin?
Christy Martin, number one.
Absolutely.
She changed the face of women's boxing.
Yeah, thanks to Don King and her efforts. I mean, she did her thing in there. She could punch. She put on a great show every time.
Yeah.
I got all the credit, all the respect in the world for Christy Martin and what she did for women's boxing.
She was a banger. She inspired
all of us.
she could fight.
She could fight. She could bang. She could do it all. And she inspired people like me, who were in the amateurs at the time, to look at women's boxing on the undercard of Mike Tyson, like right before he was coming out, and say women's boxing has arrived. Yeah. And that was pretty great.
So you're up there. And Christy's up there.
I don't know about me. I don't think I'd put me up there.
Well, okay.
I think I put myself in the top as like skilled fighters, but I never had the platform.
Okay.
So I didn't bring the viewership to women's boxing that Christy Martin, Amanda Serrano, who now has the biggest platform in the world, did.
Okay.
And I got respect for her.
I'd go for that. Go for that.
Amanda Serrano, totally. She's changing the game.
Yeah.
She's speaking out. She's bold.
Yeah.
I love Amanda Serrano. So that's 2.
Okay.
I mean, Ali's daughter, Layla, was, she did her thing and she brought some viewership, being, brought some eyes to the sport. Yeah. But who would I put on the Mount Rushmore? I got Christy and Amanda so far. I give Ali an honorable mention.
Well,
I don't know.
There's a lady out there that was a powerful lady, and I think, and her story, I think was quite a story. Ann Wolfe.
And Wolf is a beast, yeah. But the competition as it is today and as it was then, above 154, is lacking in diversity, in skill.
Okay. Because they're most women are not big women.
Right.
So
and
there
were less women up there.
Okay.
So like when Layla Ali was fighting, she was fighting, those opponents, and same opponents that Ann Wolfe. I mean, the best knockout that she had was against a basketball player. I mean, that girl played basketball. She didn't have any business in there. Had a built-up record. Yeah. But Ann Wolfe, I respect her. She works hard. She trained hard, and she's a beast. She's scary.
Yeah.
They offered me a fight with her once at 160, and I took it. The promoter didn't make it happen or whatever. And when I saw her in person, I'm like, that would have been a mountain to climb, bro. But I was willing, but she is a beast. She's a monster.
Yeah, she is.
But I don't know who I would put on that. But for sure, Christy Martin and Amanda Serrano are my top 2 up there.
We got to put 2 more up there now.
Do we?
Yeah, because it's got to be 4 on the mountain.
Okay, let's put everybody else on the other 2. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Well, I'd put you up there.
I'd have to put some thought up there.
Yeah, but I would definitely put you up there because, again, and Ring Magazine is probably the Bible of boxing. And they felt that you were one of the top 10 female boxers of all time.
But they rated me the 10th best female, which I think they underrated me. But
well, there you go. See?
That's the politics.
Yeah. So you should be on the mound, right?
It's okay. No, skill, yes. I have skill and boxing IQ.
That's it.
But for what these women did for the sport, I mean, Sue Fox I would put on that mountain, honestly.
Okay.
She didn't have that many fights, but she brought the most attention to women's boxing. She was the only one covering it when nobody else was. The WBAND, Women's Boxing Archive Network, she's also the president of the International Women's Boxing Hall of Fame.
Okay.
So she's given the women their flowers that they never had.
Great.
And she's honoring them. And back in the days, like I said, the dial-up, the AOL, the chat rooms, she was covering us. Any insignificant fight, any 4-round fight, women's fight, she was hustling, trying to get all that information and put it on her website.
Wow.
So people could follow who was in the sport. Without her, we were fighting in complete darkness.
Yeah.
So God bless Sue Fox, WBAND. I mean, keep doing what you're doing. And now she's got this Hall of Fame that's just growing up bigger and bigger every year.
And that's appropriate because we have the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. This is the International Women's Boxers Hall of Fame. I think that if you were in the sport and you represented the sport and you were a champion in the sport, it should be one Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. And there are women in the International Boxing Hall of Fame.
Yeah, this is great. It's good to see that. Yeah.
But for those who don't make it to that
pinnacle,
the International Women's Boxing Hall of Fame is a good thing.
It is a great thing, and I've seen so many women that I've known through the sport, through different eras and different times, finally getting their credit.
There you go.
Because if you look back to, I mean, I've been around a long time. I turned pro in '98. This will be my 27th year as a professional. Yeah. At the end.
Yeah.
So I've seen the days when sanctioning bodies didn't want anything to do with women's boxing. Yeah. WBC, WBA, none of them were sanctioning us. We had the IFBA, we had the GBU, WIBF. These organizations were around long before, trying to give women a chance to fight for belts.
Yeah.
So when they talk about the 4-belt era and some of these women that step on and disrespect the belts of the past, I say you got to carry the respect with it, because the IFBA was my first belt back when they didn't want to sanction us.
Yeah.
So now that they've stepped on board, I mean, everybody threw those belts in the trash and moved on with the WBC, WBA. I will always respect the belts that were there before them.
Yeah.
So, and just because women didn't have belts back then didn't mean they weren't champions. For me, these women were fighting their butts off. So, Bonnie Canino and is one of my favorite from that era. There's just so many. I wish I wasn't having a brain freeze, because I would like to credit them all, but you know what? Like, this was a different time.
Yeah. Well, there have been some good fights this year, and there have been some stinkers too. But in your opinion, what so far in this year, 2025, is the fight of the year, or what fight would you like to see in 2025?
Okay.
Other than Canelo and Crawford.
Other than why? That's gonna be one of my favorites. Easy, I think, candidate for fight of the year so far would be Inoue and Cardenas. Cardenas? What's the guy's name?
Yeah.
Inoue. I love the monster Inoue. He is a beast. He's
a bad man.
He's special. Even when he gets knocked down, he gets a little over anxious and runs into something, but he gets up and he beats the snot out of whoever he's fighting. I love him.
Yes.
Let's see. Yes, he's an all-action fighter. He beat his last opponent in the round 8 by TKO.
Yep, I was there.
Yeah, I was there as well. But he's a monster. He's the one to watch. I really like. They both went down in the fight.
Mhm.
That's a fan-friendly type of affair where they
Yeah.
both come to, But
And-
that's my favorite fight so far.
And the good thing is that fight came on the heels of
The stinkers.
The stinkers. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, there were a few not so great ones over the
It
weekend.
saved the weekend. Let me put it that way.
It was the star of the
it
weekend.
saved the
for
weekend
sure.
because Friday was bad, Saturday was bad,
Yep.
Sunday, and that's you don't usually have fights on a Sunday.
That was odd. Yeah.
That was odd,
They probably had to do it just to save the weekend.
Yeah. And they did. They saved the weekend.
But Friday there was a surprising upset with that I found interesting.
Raleigh.
With Raleigh Romero.
Yeah, I knew
upsetting
you'd say
Ryan
that.
Garcia. That was
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah.
I mean, I never would have expected that. I know Raleigh from the gym for years.
Yeah.
But Ryan Garcia, you can't trust his up and downs. I guess he's a young man with a lot of
mental
things
issues
going on up and down, and we've all been there. And I just wish that he can get to a point where he's more consistent.
Yeah, because he is talented.
He's so talented.
When he's on, he's on.
But good for Raleigh for pulling off that upset of the year. That's the upset of the year in my mind.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
may he keep going, and winning.
Yeah.
Fights that I want to see, Bud Crawford and Canelo. I love Bud Crawford. He's one of my favorite guys up there. Classy, intelligent, great boxing IQ, and I put him against any guy, even big guys.
Yeah.
And I like Canelo too, but that's going to be a fight that I'm really interested in, and also Usyk and Dubois part 2.
Well, they say boxing is about styles, and you have that going for you in both of those fights. The styles are so different. Styles do make fights, and it's going to be really interesting. Because I think the fight everybody is waiting on is Canelo and Crawford.
Definitely.
Everybody's waiting on that fight.
It's been a long time coming. It was like it's on, it's off, and it's finally here.
And the question was, can Crawford be competitive at 168 pounds?
That's a big weight.
And that's for the weigh-in. As you know, come fight time, 160, Canelo will be 180, 170, 180 pounds.
It's a mountain.
I know Bud. Bud has
small.
His frame is not. He's like Floyd.
Yeah.
And there's only so much weight you can put on that frame.
Yeah.
To be effective.
Yes.
And so, and we know that it's not going to be at a catch weight. Canelo's not coming down. So the question is going to be, and I think everyone that I've talked to, that's the first thing they talk about, the difference in weight. Can he carry?
Difference,
can he come up, and can he carry enough power up to make Canelo respect him?
So that's going to be an intriguing fight in that respect, definitely.
Yeah.
But I want to believe that Bud can do it because I believe in the boxer's ability. I've always been one to favor skill over power, over size, and I've fought all the way up to 154 myself, even that I was weighing 132 at the time, and I won by knockout.
Yeah.
Not decision, knockout.
Yeah.
So it's, skills bring the power. Sometimes technique, can equal the power.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and the history of the boxing has proven that. You got a lot of guys who won just based on their technical skill.
But also, a good big man beats a good small man. That's the old
most
adage.
of the time.
Most of the time, but it's the one that can have the exceptional skill to overcome that.
Right.
So it's really intriguing. I want to pick Bud Crawford for that fight.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's going to be a good fight.
Okay. I mean, I want to just wait and see too, but that's the safe bet is to wait and see.
Yeah.
But my heart is with Bud.
Yeah.
I hope he wins. Not that I have anything against Canelo either. I really like him too. So
yeah.
I'm just looking forward to good boxing.
And I think it's going to be. I think I don't think that it's going to let people down. I think it's definitely going to be a fight of the year.
I hope you're right,
Period.
because we've been disappointed before,
Yeah, that's true.
more recently.
Yeah. Listen, thank you, Leyla, for coming on the official call. I really appreciate you as a person, as a fighter.
Thank you, Robert. I
Period.
appreciate being on the official call with you, and I look forward to more discussions with you in the future. And, you know, I always respect you as a referee, as a friend. Thank you so much.
We're going to bring you back.
All right. Look forward to it.
Thank you, Leyla, for joining us here on the official call. And to stay connected, join our official squad below.